From the greats of Larry Bird to the fame of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and everyone else in between. Welcome to Indiana State University, a mid-major program situated in Terre Haute, Indiana. But while this program is considered one of the many mid-majors in Division I basketball, at the same time, Indiana State is one of those programs where you can simply not tell the story of college basketball without mentioning Indiana State. And while Indiana State did get the short end of the stick, Indiana State year in and year out always seems to prove that they are one of the more quality mid-major programs in Division I basketball. So we go back into the mid-2010s, the early 2010s, and we try to run it back. Can we avenge Indiana State and how they were snuffed out of the tournament? And can we build Indiana State into more than just a team that builds a destiny of winning conference championships? Can we win a national championship? Welcome to the Indiana State Dynasty here on NCAA Basketball 10 in honor of March Madness. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new series. Yeah, for the first time, we are bringing College Hoops 2K8 in its PS3/Xbox 360 generational portion to the channel. And I'm so happy that we will be taking on one of the better mid-majors of college basketball. We are taking over the Indiana State Sycamores. Now, the Indiana State Sycamores have not always been like what we saw today, them making that once-in-a-generation run deep into the NIT tournament. This team is a lot different, and it needs some work that certainly will need to be done if we want to build Indiana State into one of those bigger powers in the NCAA. So, that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and meet the team, meet the coaches, and all that other good stuff. Let's go get into it. So this is actually what our team is going to look like going into season number 1. And even though we don't have a lot of talent on this roster, I do think that we have quite a bit of upside here in year number 1. Can really shape this roster into what I want it to be personally. Now, that being said, we are looking at Scott Smalls being our team leader. He is a senior point guard out of Little Rock, Arkansas. He is going to be our top option, but not too far behind him though was our starting shooting guard, Alistair Varant. He's a sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee. He's going to be starting at the shooting guard position. Starting at power forward, though, is going to be John Phillips. John Phillips is hailing from Gary, Indiana, and he is a junior. At the small forward position, Layden Baracella is from Erie, Pennsylvania. He'll be starting at the wing position. And then at center, we're going to have a rotation of centers, depending on basically who one of those, who is the strongest fit in that game, who's kind of that hot hand. So it's going to bounce back and forth at that center position between Justin Credible and Damon Ramos. Justin Credible a little bit bigger, but Damon Ramos does have a little bit more skills and is slightly more versatile. That being said, notable guys off the bench is a few more of your guys' customs that did make the initial roster. Ken Harris is a 6'8 point guard. I love his ceiling. He's got a free point ball, and not to mention, did I mention he's 6'8", 6.8 guy that can shoot, can allow him to play anywhere between 1 and 4 if need be. JoJo Thompson is also a bigger guard as well. He's a 6'7" sophomore from Indianapolis. And then rounding out your team, we got guys like Chris Gentry, who is a freshman from Chicago, and Layden Tybergian, who is also a freshman from Gary, Indiana. Guys that probably won't see the floor much here in year number 1, but they do carry plenty of ceiling for the team though. Now, the man that will be in charge of leading this Indiana State program is John Herbertson. John Herbertson is one of the youngest coaches in all of college basketball, being bestowed as a 25-year-old leading his program for the very first time. Now, because this is an open legacy, what I did end up deciding to do was completely randomize his attributes. Whatever we got is whatever we're going to work with, and so overall, he is a good coach. He's a B- overall coach. While he isn't the best of teachers, our assistants are going to have to handle developing our players a little bit more. At the same time, this is a very charismatic coach who knows how to get quality prospects into Indiana State University, or at least give us a fighting chance at the very least. Now, as for how I really want to play, I kind of want to put that emphasis on playing fast. Playing fast and getting transition, getting as many easy buckets as possible is going to help us out in the long run, I think. So our offensive playbook, whenever we are in a half-court set, kind of leaning towards that motion, and then being a 2-free matchup defense, typically, but what I want to also do is every time we get a basket, I want to press teams. I want to get teams uncomfortable. I want to be able to have that opportunity to run people out of the building. I want to play fast at the end of the day, because if we play fast and if we can build enough depth, oh baby, I think we could really create some havoc, even though we are a quote-unquote mid-major. And then, of course, there is the idea of, who are we actually going to play here in year number 1? So we were not invited to any early season tournaments, which does kind of stink, but I think we're going to have some really intriguing matchups here to start year number 1. First and foremost, we're going to take on Butler. Now, Butler was in the Horizon League back when this first game was developed back in the late 2000s. But that being said, Butler was a really good basketball team even back then as well. So to start the season on the road against them, I'm really excited to see how we handle things against Butler to start this season out. We are also going to take on Purdue out of the Big Ten as well, another big time matchup that I think is going to be really intriguing to see how we stack up. It's going to really help us out down the line when we are taking on our own conference opponents. Speaking of our own conference opponents, we're going to start conference play late in December. We're going to take on Evansville on the road to begin things out. And then we have the rest of our conference schedule, where once we get into the thick of things, we'll play conference games at least twice a week for the most part before we get into conference tournaments and all that good stuff. So really excited to see how we handle this schedule. If we can go 500 with the type of teams that we got on our schedule, I think we could be set up for a really successful season even in year number 1. So one of the really cool things about College Hoops 2K8 is that you're able to have Midnight Madness happen on your campus. So this is just a good time to see, hey, what kind of team that we got going on here. But first, before we jump into that, one of the first things you gotta do on any 2K game, man, I gotta set this camera up, man. We are not playing with that same camera that we had over on NCAA Basketball 10 for a split second. So yeah, now we're looking good with the 2K lock. Let's go ahead and jump right into the action. Let's see what we got here in this team as Ken Harris is moving the ball around, trying to just get around the perimeter. Berwitt sets up a really nice play fake there, and Berwitt is going to draw the foul. So Indiana State's backups teams are going to be able to hit one of 2 free throws, as that is going to be missed. And now here comes our guys going the other way. Baracella is going to drive to the paint, and he is going to draw his first foul as well. So we're able to draw a foul there. You'll love to see it. And so we got ourselves a tight little game going on. I do have it set up to where we are playing 20-minute halves. Mainly doing this because I want to have as realistic of an experience for you guys as possible, as Allison Varant goes coast to coast and brings the house down, baby. Let's go, man. You love to see that action here, as now Ramos is going to drive to the paint. He's in a battle between him and Justin Credible to start at the center position this season. Depending on what happens here in the midnight scrimmage, we might change that to just incredible, but we're definitely taking this position battle to the last few weeks of the off season, so to speak, right? So can't wait to see what those two could possibly do and what both could potentially bring to the table this winter. As JoJo Thompson's gonna hand it out to Chris Gentry. Gentry's gonna lay it up and it's good. So the backups are actually hanging around with the starters here in these first 10 minutes of the game. As JoJo Thompson, speaking of which, is actually going to give those backups their first lead of the game. Okay, so they're out here playing some ball, but so is Henry getting that reverse layup to go down. That was a really nice play. So now 10 minutes left here in the first half of this Midnight Madness scrimmage, as might have been a little bit of miscommunication on defense, and we get a turnover the other way. Barlett, no, he turns it over back, and now we're trying to run the fast break, getting out to Ramos, who pulls from deep. Oh my, we might have a stretch 5 on our hands. That's gonna be a dangerous game that we're gonna play if Ramos can hit that 3-point balls consistently. That is crazy to think about. This was also a really nice rebound by Just Incredible as well, staying with it on the offensive end, and he's going to be able to convert that basket. So, interesting things happening. This backup still hanging around with the starters. Part of it is because, hey, I'm still getting used to the game, and that's nice that we still have the Midnight Madness to work through, simply because, listen, 2K is a lot different of a game than what we saw in NCAA Basketball 10. I feel like the Basketball 10 was a lot easier to try and play than 2K8, but hey, you know what? We'll figure things out little by little. It is what it is, but Tyler Gideon's going to line it up in the paint and hand it out to Just Incredible. Just Incredible misses badly on the post hook, but is going to get his own rebound though, and eventually finds a man. It is going to be a 3-point bomb. So, Barlett is going to shoot as well. That's no good. Rebound by Chapman. Chapman's going to bring the ball up the court. Is going to get out to Scott Smalls, who, he may not be a big fella, but he can throw it down like he is one. Oh my, Scott Smalls in transition. That could be a fun watch here, fellas. Watch out for Scott Smalls. He's supposed to be our top overall guy as well. You saw that on the, the roster preview earlier in this episode. So we might be running this offense through him a little bit if he's, our most well-rounded player that we do have on this team. But we're closing in on the last couple of minutes of the first half as Tyler Gian is looking to push this to the biggest lead experienced by either team today. Ken Harris is going to pull up from the mid-ranger. Danger, nice contest, but it didn't ultimately matter. So now, an 8-point lead for the backups, as they seem like they're playing more of a team than, the starters are. Granted, the starters probably would win 9 times out of 10, but this one time not being today, evidently, as we'll get it out to Allison Varant, who pulls from free, and that's good. Allison Varant having a decent stroke from deep. He's going to be able to put up 8 points here to this juncture of the ball game. But now we'll see who the backups can respond, though, as Barlett drives inside, but can't get it to Falls. Ramos picks up the rebound, and here comes Baracella trying to get it into Phillips, who has all that space and decides to lay it up. Oh man, you're 6'7", big fella. I need you to go for that basket, baby. I need that dunk. And yes, 2 points is 2 points, but I mean, come on, guys. We can't have any of that going on right now. So 9-point game still, regardless of that, as JoJo Thompson waiting for someone to get open. He's going to cut it over to Just Incredible. Hits it in the corner. No good, but Chris Gentry, the freshman, there for the rebound, and he's able to make a couple of free throws. So pushed up to a 10-point game, as Varant is going to push out to the right-hand side, getting it to Ramos, who draws the contact, and that will be called a foul. His third personal on the freshman forward. So, that being said, Ramos is able to hit both free throws. And now we have Chase Henry in the game, getting some action for the first time today. Finds Chapman in the corner. and is gonna hit that three-pointer to go, but then it's stolen again. Chapman with the rebound. No, Durant up and it's good. And the backups are going to have to take a timeout. Here comes your starters. We're gonna come back and pull it out. However, the backups do recompose themselves out of the timeout, and the lead is extended to 7 points. As now Bartlett has a clean open lane and is gonna get the layup to go. Bartlett having a nice day for the backups. He has 16 on the day as JoJo Thompson looks to get some action himself. He's gonna push it back out to Bartlett. He's got the hot hand, no good. But there's just Incredible again with an incredible rebound. Now it's an 11-point ball game. Bartlett with the corner shot, no good. And here comes Chase Henry with the rebound, pushing it to Baraselka. Bang! Baraselka with a nice 3-point bomb, and that's how we're going to generate offense this year. We're not much of a half-court team. I still got to get used to things in the half-court. But with that being said, though, I will say that, hey, if we can get things going in transition, we can build things off of our defense, then maybe we can get those easy buckets on the other end. Smalls is going to pull up for a mid-ranger. Danger, it's no good, but Baraselka is there for the rebound. And the backups once again take another timeout. But even if we have these nice moments from our starters, you know, I'm really disappointed to see how our starters have been playing. Durant's going to pull from the corner. That's good. But it's just that it's nice moments. We don't have that consistency, as we're just looking a little bit lost on defense. So maybe it's one of those things where, hey, since our defensive awareness isn't that terribly high, maybe we would take a closer look at playing some more zone defense, as that's a tough layup to go for Allison Durant. That's the nice thing that I like about Durant. Not only is he just a 3-point shooter, but this is also somebody that can pull from really anywhere on the floor. He's really a free-layer scorer, which I really love that about him. As now we're getting into those closing moments of the game, it seems pretty clear that the backups are going to win this one. Maybe if we continue this for multiple seasons, what we do, and maybe treat it as like a CPU versus CPU type deal, and then we can get a better look and a better idea of, okay, here's how each of our guys that is on this team, how do they actually play out? So let me know if that's something that y'all would be interested in, as there's Ken Harris with another free. He's got 16 points as well. So a 15-point lead for the Sycamores of the backups, as Harris looks to make it close to 18, and he's got it. 18 points for Ken Harris at this point, just trying to, get it down court as much as possible, as I'll wrap it up. So it definitely felt like one of those games where, multiple things could be true. I mean, truly, there could be a spot where, hey, maybe our backups are not as bad as what we think they're going to be, but I also need to get better on the sticks. I mean, we definitely struggled in that particular game. Got to be a lot better if we want to have a better chance of being successful here in year number 1. But with that being said, next episode, what we will have going on is we will make the trip in the state of Indiana. We will be taking on this Butler Bulldogs team, and I'm excited to see what we can do against this Butler Bulldogs team, especially once I figure things out on the sticks as well. Should be a fun one. Can't wait to jump into this series. I hope you guys are excited for it. If you are, I need you guys to go ahead and do a couple of things for me. Hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John J. Gaming on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.